All right, we're into padding now. And inside of the box model, we just learned about our content. So going back to our box with the camera. So in our last module, we talked about the camera, specifically meaning the content that we'd be writing. Now we're going to be talking about this stuff in between that is kind of invisible inside of CSS, but you can see that it's represented here with the packing paper. So I actually really like this analogy here because this is a visualization of the white space, whereas CSS, it's harder to see. So let's kind of dive into our code pen. Now remember, this is the website that we're building. I have this box model overview that I had to start building. You don't have to go build this if you want. You can just kind of hang out here, watch this, and we're going to jump back to the website. So let's talk about padding. I'm going to go ahead and take JS out here. So we just learned about height and width. And of course, we already know about colors and font sizes and all that good stuff. So I'm going to start labeling parts of the box model for us just here. I'm going to say contents, content, because we're styling the inner content of the box like we did here with our camera. And now we're going to do padding. So I'm going to just put some comments in here that say padding. What I'm going to do is once we're done with this box model code pen, I'll be adding this to our resources so you can reference it. It'll already be there for you now. And we're going to be focusing on the padding section. So here's what it looks like. What are we going to type in padding? Colon, semicolon, and then watch very carefully. I want you to pay attention to this. I'm going to draw up here. Pay attention to the spacing right here between the C and the edge of the blue. Okay, here we go. I'm going to throw in 20 pixels, 20 px, and watch. Boom. Notice something interesting. We just added some of this newspaper. So we gave ourselves some breathing room inside the box because nobody likes to see text that is hugged up against the left. In fact, look around you in this very website and you can see that there's padding being used all over the place in terms of the spacing. So again, right here, this is where our 20 pixels, 20 pixels, 20 pixels, and 20 pixels. This is harder to see because it's invisible, but we're going to show you how we can see that in our next module called border. But for right this second, I want you to notice that another something interesting. When we wrote padding 20px, it added padding to each side of the box, of the inside of the box. So it's as if we just went 20 pixels on each side. So we did 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, and 20 here with our code. So that is called shorthand. And in CSS, we're going to be using various types of shorthands. We don't have time to go over every shorthand that we can do in padding. There's actually some really cool things we could do with padding and margin. We're going to probably talk about that later or provide some links for what you could go deeper in learning about shorthand with padding. One thing I want to note is that if we wanted to give padding to just the top, so let's say we wanted camera to be bumped down further, we can actually do that. So check this out. Padding dash top. Now let's say 50px just to make it really jump. And you can see that the camera jumped 50 pixels, whereas the left, right, and bottom stayed at 20. That is pretty cool. So if you ever need to control one specific side, know that you can do padding dash top, and then we can do padding dash right, padding dash bottom, and padding dash left. But again, we're going to be focusing just for our website on one shorthand, which is just padding 20 for all sides. So what we're going to do now, jump back with me to our web page, and let's find our card class. So here's our card, right? And you can see that our this R is hugging right up against the edge of our card. We don't want that. We want it to look nice with some spacing. So we're going to be throwing in some spacing into our card. And the exact number is actually going to be 32 pixels. So jump inside of card, padding 32px, and hit semicolon. And then you'll see that this just added 32 pixels of padding to the outside of our borders, or sorry, the inside of our borders, giving us this really nice breathable look. So we're starting to look pretty nice. You can see how Box Model starts to make things look more professional and less clunky. So let me just kind of show you the before and after again. So before, that's what it looked like. After. Obviously, the page needs to be refreshed apparently here. There we go, after. So you can see that we've got some nice 32 pixel gutters right here, up here. And you can't really see it because it's white, but there's another one right there. So padding is essential in helping us get that really nice look. Okay, let's figure out what border looks like as the next piece of Box Model.